So this is going to be different from what I normally cover, but I feel like some awareness needs to be raised here. I'm going to give my input on this. I'd like your input, and just be aware you might get a little heated here. Yeah, like I said, I wanted to raise awareness to a recent event that happened in Florida where police decided to be judge, jury, and executioner for an Army veteran that was dressed a certain way. Granted, he was open carrying and he was not going to hunting or fishing as far as I'm aware of, but he could have been, right? The police decided not to investigate. They decided to unalive him because he was dressed a certain way and he had a weapon on him. It's a terrible situation, and I feel like the police should be held accountable. Now, this is an article out of the Tampa Bay Times, and they put under here, a real and immediate threat. The sheriff's office started receiving calls at 7:24 that morning about a man in fatigues carrying a rifle on Province Road. Chief Deputy Joseph Morin said during a news conference at the scene. Deputies arrived and encountered Morin near a bus stop on the west side of Providence, just south of Windingwood Avenue. Morin said deputies gave multiple commands for Morin to drop the weapon, and he did not comply. Morin did not give details about what else, if anything, deputies did to try to de-escalate the situation before they opened fire. Now, in this article titled, "They Were Supposed to De-Escalate," Morin's loved ones said they can see the situation from the perspective of bystanders and deputies who knew nothing about Morin, but they still believe deputies fired too quickly, then cast him as a menace. They didn't even try to investigate first, Catherine Morin said. They just made an assumption. Tendrip said deputies didn't appear to ask her son what's wrong or how they could help, which they did not, and this happens far too often. They were supposed to de-escalate, she said. She said her son was likely sticking to a key rule in the military, never give up your weapon. Johnson wondered why deputies didn't call in SWAT team and try to negotiate with Morin. "I'm devastated, I'm hurt, and I do not like how the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office handled the situation," Johnson said. She said Morin was a caring, attentive father who rarely left their son's side and loved to laugh and play with the boy, who was a spitting image of his dad. And now here's a little bit from a few of the people that he served with and his friends.
Leader, which makes the news of the shooting hard to process.
Now, I don't know what circumstances he was going through, what he was going through mentally at that state, but the Vincent I knew would never harm anybody or intend to cause harm to anybody.
He was an extremely buttoned up, extremely professional dude. He definitely positively impacted an innumerable number of soldiers' lives throughout his career.
Jedediah Orr says he also served in the Army with Morin and reached out to ABC Action News.
I guess initially shock and then a growing concern about how the situation's being handled and how my friend is being portrayed by law enforcement.
So what had happened is he decided to get kitted up, and he had his weapon on him with some extra magazines. And he had head comms on as well, and he, in my opinion, went on patrol. Well, there was 911 calls, and about 14 minutes later, the police showed up and confronted him from a distance with their rifles drawn. They told him to drop his weapon. He didn't, and within, I think it was probably 15 seconds after that, they fired upon him. He threw his weapon away after he was fired upon and shot. He went into the fetal position as they continued to fire at him. And the police in this situation are calling the police officers heroes. I don't think so.
On Wednesday morning, deputies said Morin ignored orders to drop his gun.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun now! Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
Ultimately shooting and killing him.
Police have to do what they have to do given the scenario and everything. I'm not blaming them for anything. Florida's not an open carry state. I understand that. There was school children out and whatnot.
Whether the situation could have been prevented, it's not certain, but something that his loved ones are now coping with.
After multiple commands to drop the firearm, 3 of our deputies fired on the suspect. Unfortunately, that suspect has since been deceased.
The chief deputy was asked if at any point Morin pointed the gun at anyone.
He was holding the firearm and it's still early in the investigation, but he did not comply with commands.
Did you notice a little smirk on that guy's rat face right when he was done saying that he did not comply with commands, so they ended his life, right? Does that mean that anybody that does not comply with police commands that may look like they are a threat is now determined to be executed by said police officers? I don't think it does, and I don't think that's the law, and I don't think qualified immunity should be even assessed here, because I mean, let's be honest, the police are going to get away with this. I mean, unless it's taken up to Supreme Court or something like that, the police are going to absolutely get away with this, and they're probably going to get a medal for, well, what could have happened. We stopped what could have possibly maybe happened, right? So there's no investigation. They're still looking into if he was talking to anybody on his comms, which he most likely wasn't. But I just think this situation is an atrocious situation. It's terrible that this happened. The police should be held to the same account, and they should be held under the UCMJ. I've been talking about this for years. I've been saying it because they keep on getting away with stuff like this, and it is unacceptable. Now, a little bit about Staff Sergeant Morin, and so he's a native Michigan-born citizen, but he moved to Florida. Morin served from 2009 to 2012, then from 2014 to 2020, according to the Army spokesperson. He was deployed to Afghanistan in 2011 and spent a year there. He spent another 6 months in that country in 2016. Then the following year was deployed to Iraq, where he spent 8 months. He left the Army in 2020 as a staff sergeant, according to the spokesperson. During Morin's first tour in Afghanistan, he suffered a TBI when a vehicle he was hiding in ran over an IED, his wife said. He left the Army in 2012, the same year they were married, but he missed the military, so he re-enlisted in 2014. And the reason for his getting out of the military was him and his family were home on leave before he was sent to his next assignment, which was in Germany. And he was out on a walk, and a snowplow hit him, which ultimately forced him to leave the military, and he was honorably medically discharged. Now, from what I've seen, this young man, his life was military, right? It's a terrible situation all around, and remember, this is my opinion on this. It's not yours. My opinion is that the police should be held responsible for the unaliving of this young man, who, in my opinion, posed no threat to anybody. He just looked scary, so the police decided to unalive him. But yeah, from what I've seen, he was just a stand-up, squared away, just a really good guy, right? Just had some issues with PTSD, as veterans tend to have. I am going to link the GoFundMe to his family. They have a goal of $25,000, and they've raised $15,480. So if anyone wants to donate, it would be very helpful to his family. And I'm also going to link the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department on here if you want to email them or send them a letter, let them know what you think about this case, because I feel like the police officers should be held accountable, and I feel like that rat of a person that was smirking at the end there should be fired. That's my opinion. Just putting it out there. But, yeah, other than that, that's all I have for this. I will have a Friday show going on tomorrow, so tune in for that. Y'all be safe out there. If you know of anyone struggling, reach out. Yeah, terrible situation all the way around. But yeah, you guys get outside, hydrate, change your socks, and get some PT in. All right, I'll talk to you. Bye.